Hello, how are you? I think it's actually my first time going live on YouTube on my good morning on my PC. Is it? Oh, it's 7 people. I thought it's one person. How is everyone this morning? Morning. How's everyone? Is anyone doing work? I'm good. I'm really good. I'm productive, so that's always good. Um, Mentally preparing for Melusi next year. What? Am I chatting to a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old here? What's happening? Oh, what? Why are they Let me actually look at my analytics. Because I've got analytics that show me age. I think you guys might actually be interested in that. I'm going to do 365. I'm going to look at the audience. Yeah. So I've got monthly audience for about 2.7K, which isn't as high as I would like. I hope you guys are sharing my videos and sharing my content. And if you don't like my content, you have to tell me what I should be, doing content on. The ideas must come from you. What do you want to see? And it can't always be the same. Hey, which bank account should I get? And in terms of investments, I can talk about platforms, but I can't tell you which investments to do because I work in asset management. So if you want to know more, you have to like come to the company and consult with the relevant people and pay, right? Financial advice is not free. Okay, so audience, I've got 86% on new viewers, monthly casual viewers, I've got 9%, regular viewers, I've got 4.6%. A format, so everybody watches on video. Shorts, everyone watches. Live, about 60% of you guys watch. And then 52% are watching on a mobile phone, 24% are watching on a computer, 20% are watching on a TV. I think that's pretty cool. I like watching YouTube on a TV as well. And then 4% are watching on a tablet. In terms of geographies, 45% are South Africa, 6.5% are India, 3.8% are US, 2% is UK, 2% is Indonesia. The rest is really just all over. But like the bulk is South Africa. Age and gender, that's what I wanted. So for all videos and shorts, 29% are female, 71% are male. I really wish that could switch around. Like, I am for the girlies. Everything I do is for the girlies. Um, because what I want to do is I want to put it out there that we can actually do our thing ourselves. Because there's a lot of like, when people see my car, for instance, right? I've got that gray Polo Vivo. They're always like, is this yours? I'm like, yeah. And then guys will be like, oh, it's a very guy car. And I'll be like, oh, but VW sells cars to women as well, right? Or when someone sees like a nice VW or like a nice BMW on, social media, they'll be like, oh yeah, what? They'll be like, oh yeah, I wish I could date someone with this car. And I'm like, BMW sells cars to women. So that's like what I'm trying to push. So I wish I had more female than male viewers, simply because career is a pipeline to getting these nice cars and getting these nice travels and all of these things. Soft life, if you will. And it doesn't have to be via marriage. It's not like we're not our parents. Like, times have moved on. Women can do their own thing. So I'll read your message now. 13 to 17 years, it's only 1.5%. 18 to 24 years, I got 20%. And then 25 to 34 years, I've got 20%. Oh no, 25 to 34, that's 40%. 35 to 44 is 20%. 45 to 54 is 8%. And then there's the rest. So that's quite interesting. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting like matriculant to be here. It's a small probability. Evil Tech, what I'm currently doing my BSc in Maths and Applied Maths. That's a good combo. I've got a friend, Uanga. Yeah. She's actually also on YouTube. Angam Diata. She works at West Bank now. That's her major as well, BSc in Maths and Applied Maths. She did it at WITS. She went as far as, I think, her master's. I've been researching a lot on quantitative trading in SA, but I haven't been able to get information on that in SA. Okay. Can you help me with some knowledge on that? Look, everyone says they're a quant house, but most often they're still fundamentalists, but they do get signals from quant trading. I think who you can chat to is Alungile Gaza. Alungile Gaza. So Gaza is GCAZA. So Alungile Gaza is a quant analyst at Mazi Asset Management. He's in equities and he does quant trading, machine learning strategies, and all of that. So he's a portfolio manager there, so he can help you with that and chat to you with that. Yeah, and he's super helpful. So look him up. Let me, I don't want to do a Q&A. It's saying add a Q&A sticker. I don't want to do that. I don't know how to type here. Okay. Hey guys, TikTok is so much more nicer to go on lives. But yeah, Alungile Gaza, he works at Mazi Asset Management, so he can help you with that quant trading. And then the person who was talking about, oh, you were talking about the maths and what? Yeah. So my friend is Angam Diata. Angam Diata. Let me see if I'm saying the name right. Yeah, Angam Diata. She's a data scientist at West Bank. MNDIYATA. That's her surname. Which I just finished. First law going into second, which is where the 2004 confrontation is waking. Ooh, is Professor Christine Tiat still there? She did 204 for us. Hello, Bulelwa. She did, what's her name? She did stats 204 for us. And like in the opening lecture, she's got a thick accent. Yeah. Uchi in the first, what she'll tell you, I'm giving you a toolbox. And everything you're going to use for your statistics career is in this toolbox. And that's her opening lecture. And then she teaches and teaches and teaches. And then when you start getting stuck, like after test one, it starts getting litty. Like you start feeling the fire. You just think back to the toolbox and you're like, fuck, I'm missing a spanner because the math isn't mathing. Things aren't coming together. So I must be missing one tool in my toolbox. and you still think about it in third year stats when you're doing all three of them. You do 3041, 3045 in first semester, 3045 will light up your ass. And then 3043 in second semester. But I think they've broken 3043 into like a machine learning big data thing, so I don't know anymore. But like you're thinking of that toolbox up until you finish stats 3, bruh. Like that's how impactful it is. But nope, it's Malusi, Yuri, and Dr. Freedom. Oh, I love Malusi. Malusi also taught 1006, Yuri and Mazi. Dr. Freedom Kumedza used to teach 3043. Yo, he used to make a lot of mistakes, like when he's writing on the board and stuff like that. And he was also the head of stats. Uti, I love you, Bully. Thank you. Thank you. Uti, looking forward to it with tears. Have you done pre-reading? It's always nice to do pre-reading, bro. Even if it's not meaningful at the time, but you have to do pre-reading. Yeah, when I'm with December, things are cute. You can do things at your own time. Thank you for liking. Please also, you guys, can you like the live? It gets shared to more people so we can grow our community and things like that. I think I get a bit put off with content essay as much as I know like the platform is important because I don't get a lot of engagement and I don't get a lot of like for instance the videos that do well, ne? The videos that do well are the Polo, like I took a risk that I bought a 2023 Polo Vivo. That is like my best video, followed by throwback to my Sandy Bay nude beach video. We know why that one went well, right? So for me, it's like if you guys want me to talk about cars, then it's not the channel for it. Even La Polo Vivo, I was mostly talking about the finances. You know, I was obsessed with the Landuka. Even on my TikTok, I have always been obsessed with the auctions. Buying cars on auction and just watching the price and knowing what's a good price and what's not. So I looked at it from that perspective, but I'm not a car person. So if you guys don't engage on the stuff that you want me to engage on, how do I make content then? Because it's not rewarding on my end. So it's difficult for me to get the channel to grow. I also don't want to lie to you because everyone is telling you guys go invest on easy equities, and that's not my perspective. Mna, and I've said even on the Itumeleng posts, I've said bana in the comments, guys, I'm worried about how much money you guys are investing in shares alone. I am saying there should be a split. Mali is serious and play money, right? If you are an engineer, if you are a medical doctor, if you are a statistician, if you are even an accountant, ne? You have no business putting in 100,000, which is a total of a portfolio yako on easy equities. You've got no business saying, yeah, let me buy Woolworths stock. It's always full when I go there. Yeah, let me buy ShopRite stock. It's always busy when I go there. Yeah, let me buy MTN. Everyone I know uses MTN and not Vodacom. Yeah, let me sell Vodacom shares because they're gonna have to pay out that please call me guy. Like there are analysts who go and sit down and their daily job is to price that stock. When are you a medical doctor? How are you putting in all of your money based on, yeah, I feel like Checkers is always full, so let me buy ShopRite stock. Yeah, everyone banks with First Rand, so let me buy First Rand stock. Everyone I know banks with FNB or RMB. That's like me thinking I can fix my own kettle. I'm not an engineer, electrical engineer. I'll fix the kettle and it will work, and then it's gonna blow up my apartment because I'm not an engineer. I'm not an electrician. Yeah, well, so I'm always so worried about that. Like all of the girlies are telling you, this is how much I made on easy equities. This is how you do it. Yeah, you can take part in fractional shares. I made 300% on this particular share. They're not gonna show you when they lose their money, when they lose their capital. So now I'm always saying, if you've got 100,000, ne? 70% of that should be with Alan Gray, Matrix Fund Managers, Signia Asset Management, Prescient Investment Management, and then 30,000, which is 30% of your portfolio, should be your vibes, your easy equities, your Isaba well, because you don't know enough about that. You've never done discounted cash flows for Vodacom to see the impact of that please call me payout, what that's going to look like on their cash flows. You haven't, applied yourself in terms of the probabilities, right? You haven't gone and looked at Capitec and read the financial statements and done an impact analysis of what is going to happen now that Old Mutual is launching a bank, now that PEP is going to be launching a bank in partnership with Investec, that those two banks are in direct competition with the lower segment. You don't know what that means for Capitec's bottom line, but you're buying Capitec shares because they're going up, they're going up, they're going up, right? And then you're going and saying, yeah, ShopRite checkers, this. You don't know what's happening to the lower income segment in terms of the market and how they are getting stretched and the inflation at that particular, what's the name, price point. Yeah, well, such that people now are spending less on food and more on other things, or they're buying the secondary or not secondary market, they're buying in the informal market for fruit and veggies, and if what's the name is feeling a pinch. For instance, potatoes, the price of potatoes went down around 40%, the equity team tells me, ne? So now the problem is that if or when ShopRite slashes the amounts, it's not going to directly translate to more sales. Like potatoes, a sack of potatoes isn't the type of thing that you buy 2 or 3 or 4 so that they stay at home because this is our bola. You understand? That is the kind of information that you're not aware of. Do you get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? You guys are gonna say, yeah, potatoes are cheap, therefore, ShopRite sales are gonna go up when they do this. No, no. What did Kanye say? How, Sway? How? Like, it's not your profession. It's like me Googling what I think is wrong with me when I've got a spot here, and then going and straight to the pharmacist, bypassing my doctor, going straight to the pharmacist and being like, hey, I've got eczema, or I've got this, or I've got this. Just prescribe me the medication. Don't do that. Do not do. There are professionals who do these things for a reason, and like we've got professionals here, and the people on Itumeling's platform are professionals who are writing in. Umdu will say, I'm an accountant, I'm a social scientist, I'm an engineer, I'm a medical doctor, I'm a lawyer, and yet you're doing some dumb shit with your money. Like, why would you be a lawyer thinking that you can also invest on your own? Like, come on. Yeah, so that's why I don't do those investment what. And I've had like people ask me, hey, can you tell us how to invest? Hey, can you tell us this, whatever? It's because I don't want to be responsible for people putting their life savings there. Like people are buying Nvidia now. Why? Talk to me about the Taiwanese chip company, right? Talk to me about the AI boom or bust. Have you run the numbers? Do you know what JP Morgan is saying about OpenAI and the slowdown and how they're going to raise capital? What do you think about what OpenAI said about them getting contracts from the US government and them being dependent on that for growth? What do you think is happening with the data centers? What's happening with Tesla's data centers out in, I believe, Texas? What is that doing to the community? What is that doing to electricity? What is that doing to water? What does that mean for US chips and the consumption and NVIDIA's growth? But when are you going and you're buying NVIDIA? Because Tando on YouTube said, buy NVIDIA, and it's been going up 300%. And you guys don't do it with small money because you guys have money. Like I said, because you're professionals, right? You've got savings. But now you're going to go and put 30,000 in NVIDIA stock. You know nothing about the your USD ZAR. Trump is going to tweet something about Afrikaner refugees there, and USD ZAR is going to jump to 19 or 20 rand, and that's going to tank your investment. And then what? Oh, why you guys stress me out? But yeah, that's why I don't do like that kind of content. But my easy equities, but my what? Now what I can do is I've shown you guys how to read the fund fact sheets. I did ages ago in one of my what's the name. I'm basically trying to show you when you're looking at a prescient fund, how do you read what they're telling you so that you can be able to choose a fund. Why? Because you should be investing with asset management professionals and not doing it yourselves. Now you've got feelings on we buy cars. We Buy Cars just listed. You've got feelings based on the what's the name I shared, the consumer protection ruling. Now all of a sudden, you know that We Buy Cars isn't gonna do well, so the show is gonna go down. So you're selling, huh? You alone. You don't have an investment committee. You don't have specialists. You don't have access to brokers. I sent that video to my team. Like I sent it to the portfolio manager of equities, and we did a back and forth because I'm on holiday and he's on holiday. We did a back and forth about what he thinks. When he gets back to the office, that man is gonna run his model and put those things down. He's gonna call FNB and he's gonna chat to the RMB broker who's in charge of research for We Buy Cars. He's gonna reach out to management at We Buy Cars and talk to them, right? He's gonna reach out to JP Morgan. He's gonna reach out to Morgan Stanley. He's gonna reach out to Standard Bank. He's gonna reach out to analysts at APSA. And he's gonna be like, hey guys, what do you guys think about We Buy Cars? And he's gonna take all of that information and he's gonna come to a price point for We Buy Cars. And then he's gonna talk to his analysts and he's gonna talk to his, co-portfolio managers, and he's gonna say, guys, based on the information we've got, this is what the model is saying. This is the number that it's spitting out for We Buy Cars price. It's currently priced at this. This is where we forecast it to be in a month after this announcement, 3 months, 6 months. Our investment horizon for the share was 3 years. So I don't think we should do anything, or I think we should sell and come back when it comes down and buy. Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't have access to that. You do not have access to that. If they are saying the portfolio holding for We Buy Cars is 3% across the portfolios, we should trim it down to 1%, they can do that. But if everyone is doing that in the same day, right, We Buy Cars' share price is going to come down. You are going to suffer because it's called real money. If Coronation, Allen Gray, Matrix, Prescient, who else is big? If all of these guys dump a share on a day, based on calculated reasons and modeling, then you, the small fish with your 30,000, that 30,000 is going to be 15,000 when you're checking your stock at lunchtime. Now you've got heart palpitations at work. Why? Because you listened to Tand and you went and you bought on We Buy or you're on Easy Equities, right? What I would recommend is ETFs, right? ETFs are like groupings of what's the names of stocks. So let me actually see if I can go on. I don't even know my Easy Equities logins at the moment, like, because I have to, when I work in asset management, I have to declare. I have to declare my individual stock pickings. I have to ask for permission. If I want to buy MTN, I need to write in writing to the equities team and I have to copy in compliance. Hi, I'm thinking of buying MTN shares. Then the equity portfolio manager can come back to me and say, wait, you're not allowed to buy on the 30th. You can buy on the 2nd because maybe the company is busy trading MTN at that point in time. Or they can say, sharp, you can buy, we don't hold any MTN shares. So for me, that's so much work. And also, I genuinely prefer to invest my money. My money is in a hedge fund with Matrix, and it's also in the income fund with Matrix. The bulk of my money is in the hedge fund because it's a long-term investment. So I'm willing to take the up and down. And then I've got a little bit of money in just the income fund, which doesn't grow much, but I know there's capital preservation. Income funds don't lose money. Do you get what I mean? So if I do put in money here, it's going to be so little. And like the work required for me to go and come back. Hey guys, I'm thinking of buying Vodacom today. Next week, hey guys, I'm thinking of selling, TFG. Yeah, it's so much work for me. It's so intensive that I would rather just invest in the team and buy the funds internally. Because I know what they think. When they discuss, I sit with the fixed income team, but I sit, or the equities team is behind me. So I can hear when they're chatting. And sometimes we have discussions and I'm privy to them. I can listen in. And like I have lunch with these guys. So if I want to ask something about a certain stock, I will go and I'll reach out to the fixed income or to the equities team and be like, hey, what do you think about this? They laughed at me last year when I bought a Cavella from Spitz. Yeah, and Ikavela, like Spitz was having trouble at the end of last year, and they weren't able to have December sales. They were only able to have them in Jan, February. I am privy to that. So when I go and I buy AVI, I have that information because I'm in these calls with these guys when I ask to be. Yeah, you know what I mean? So when the equities team is meeting with AVI management, because they know I like Ikavela, they'll say, hey, do you want to join AVI is what's her name is meeting with us? And then I can jump in on the call and I can listen in. And then they interrogate. The head of equities is there, the equity portfolio manager is there, the analyst that is in charge of AVI and has a model for AVI is there, and Tando's on the call listening in. But when you want to go and you want to buy or sell AVI stock based on what someone said on YouTube, guys. Lord, yes, I'm pre-reading. Got weird though because I have now to catch up with my maths, AC and LA to continue with the content. What do you mean? I thought you're going to second year. Why are you catching up with maths? Yes, the stock breaking is scary. It's so scary, bro. Good morning all the way from Brits. How are you holding up? Hey, where's Brits? Is it in Northwest? What's up? Have I been to Northwest? You know where I've been? I've been to Sohlanguve, RR. I think RR, yeah. And I think that fell under Northwest. I was there for a car spinning show I was watching years ago. Uti, what are we coding with you? Hey, Kenneth, you didn't even say happy birthday, Boza. That's my boy. Kenneth Mpela's my boy. Hi, can I please ask you something? Is it better to work at PwC or Guard Risk in terms of work hours and pay? I'll answer you now. So I'm on my easy equities, what? Look how much money I've lost. Ne? I'm gonna switch my screen. I quickly just wanna make sure this is the only screen that's visible. I wanna show you guys like real time. And this is my field, ne? This is my easy equities portfolio. And the thing is, these guys won't show you. So I'm showing you now. That I'm in funds to invest, I'm in the negative. The ZAR is 14 Rand, TFSA is 8 Rand, the USD is down bad. Easy equities property is positive. This is how much I've lost in my portfolio. Let's do max. Is it not gonna show? Oh, it's too much. Let me do 1 year. So I haven't been putting money in. It's just been the money that's been left in this account. So I've had 20K in 2021. I was foolish at the time. And now the money is down here. Ne? Easy equities ZAR, it's flat. Ne? Easy equities USD, I've lost 66%. What do Zoom people say? 66. I've lost $670. Do you understand that? Let me click on this, show you. Right. Equities, and I'm down 9% in terms of that. Investment types and manager. Let's see. Let me show you my holdings. Because you guys won't get shown this because everything is cute on YouTube. I get it. They're building content with you. No, I'm not building content with investments. Here's it. I'm holding Alibaba Group. Ne? Alibaba Group. Sorry. I hope my phone is clear. Let me just wipe the screen. Right. So Alibaba Group, I've lost 40%. It's down 40%. Bumble is down 95%. I bought it at $412. Now it's $19. Do you see that? Jumia, I bought at $115. It's $57 now. Nayo, $60, and now it's $5. Do you see this, guys? No one is going to show you this. No one is going to show you this on your YouTube. No one, and I don't want to be like jealous of the girlies or some shit. But like, this is my field. You guys know I graduated in natural science. You know I did finance. I work with these guys. I do not do this on YouTube because it can go left very quickly. My easy equity ZAR has like 14 Rand. So I've got nothing there. I don't even have investments. Let me show you. I don't have investments. It's just 14 Rand that I just didn't take out. You see here? That's the ZAR one, 15 Rand. There's nothing here. It's just 14 Rand. That's chilling. All holdings, nothing. No investments in your account. It's by design. It's by design. Woman, so just be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Let me show you. I've got a demo ZAR account. That is also down. And maybe it's my ability. Maybe I've got 65,000 to invest. It's demo. No, it's not real money. It's demo. So that's my current value. Funds to invest. Yeah, I'm down 6% on this. So let me show you my holdings here. So one invest, that's 58. Excision, that's up. AB InBev is up. EOH is down bad. Huge Group is down bad. Self-storage is up. Yeah, but oh, what I actually wanted to show you guys was the ETFs. I was saying that I believe in, that I can get behind. So you see here, they've got markets, DIY, and they've also got managed products. So please consider this. Please consider the managed products for your easy equities ZAR. I am begging. Let me go here on ZAR. Please consider this. You've got bundles. So a bundle is an investment portfolio that is owned by an individual investor, but looked after or managed by a professional money manager, which they receive a fee for in return. Let me just zoom this in. Let me zoom my screen in. Yeah. So that's a bundle. What is a unit trust? It's managed by a fund manager. It pools investors' money to buy a diverse portfolio of assets. They offer professional management and diversification in one investment, reducing individual risk. ETFs are listed on an exchange, allowing you to get your hands on a collection of shares and other instruments that follow a market theme. One transaction exposure to too many. This is what I think you should be doing with your play around money. And then unit trust and bundles is what I think you should be doing with your real money. So if you've got 100 rand, 30 rand should be in ETFs. Like you can buy like a tech theme, you can buy a consumer staples theme, you can buy a banking theme because you feel like it, because it's for vibes. You really like South African banks, you really like South African consumer discretionary, or you really like consumer staples, right? Bundles and unit trusts, that should be 70 rand out of your 100 rand. You've got a professional doing it. Then there's active and there's passive portfolios. So passive portfolios is they mirror a benchmark, and then active are the ones that say we like Pick and Pay, we like ShopRite, we don't like Boxer. That's active. Passive, they literally just follow a benchmark. Then there's risk. Conservative, growth and income, growth and aggressive. Aggressive is nice if you're doing like a long term. I don't mind if this goes down 30%, but I know it can go up 30% as well. Growth is like smaller companies that you think are going to grow. So in the early 2000s, Capitec would have been a growth stock. Growth and income is the dividends. I know the girlies are always telling you this is how much we made in dividends, so that is the income portion of things. Conservative is what I was saying I have for income funds. Conservative is literally like if I put in 30K, I just want my 30K to be there next month and the month after that. It doesn't have to grow by a lot, but I just capital preservation. These are the asset managers that are here. Nangu Coronation, Nangu Ellen Gray, that I'm always telling you guys about. Nancy Cetrix, and then they also allow you to compare and do research, but your research is not going to be better than Coronation. Your research is not going to be better than the Net Group. Your research is not going to be better than Ellen Gray. Ellen Gray has a couple of analysts covering We Buy Cars. Ellen Gray has a couple of analysts covering Nedbank. Ellen Gray has a couple of analysts covering ShopRite. Ellen Gray's ShopRite analysts go and meet with ShopRite management. Now, what do? You just read the annual financial statements after. So let me quickly show you the ETFs. That's what I was talking about. So these are easy ETFs. So this one is global equity, right? This is actively managed AI world. So this is a nice one, right? So, okay, it's not showing me. I actually want to look at the information. All right, so AI World actively managed ETF. What did we say active is? It means that they stock pick. They don't follow a benchmark. Ne? Then I go here, market research, so that I can see what are they talking about here. Let's see. Here's it. Biggest holdings in ETFs AI World, AME London. Meta Platforms is one of the largest holdings in the newly listed Easy ETFs AI World actively managed ETF, managed by EAM, Easy Asset Management. Commenting on the latest results, Sean Crom, CIO of EAM, shares below why they believe Meta could be positioned for future AI leadership. And then they tell you everything you need to know about a Meta. They also mention on NVIDIA. They also manage on AI and ad monetization. You get what I mean? So you've got a little bit of information when you are going to buy into this ETF. You get what I mean? Then Satrix also has something similar. So that's DV Plus. What is that? It's shares that are specific or that pay a lot of dividends. Why did I tell you dividends are? It's income. So there's capital growth when it comes to a stock when a share price goes up, and then there's the income component, which is how much dividends the company pays out. What are dividends? You get profit. So if a company makes 100 Rand of profit, they pay 30% out in dividends, and then they choose to reinvest 70%, which is the 70 Rand. So the dividend is the income portion that they pay back to shareholders. Do you get what I mean? FNB also has its own ETFs. So they've got a mid cap. What is that? It's shares that are in the middle. They're not too big. They're not too small. They also have a top 40. FNB has a top 40. That is through Ashburton, which is their asset management leg out of First Rand. Ne? So top 40 is benchmark hugging. It's passive. They just choose the top 40 shares and then they follow that benchmark. One Invest also has a top 40. You get what I mean? This and this is going to be very similar. The only difference is when they trade. Like that's what would change the One Invest 5.16 to the 4.96 of what's the name? But they're both hugging the benchmark, which is the top 40. Resi 10 by Satrix, what is that? They choose the mines, the Resi stocks, the mining companies, the resource stocks. Signia also has a top 40. IOX has a top 50. This one is based on inclusion and diversity, Satrix. So what is that? It's ESG. If you've got an ESG mandate. Sharia top 40, that's if you follow the Sharia funds, which are funds that have a certain Islam mandates. So they can't invest in certain shares, and then the way that they pay interest is also very special. That's also there. Then you've got capped all share, right? You've got the value equity, so that's a style. That's a style. Value is a style. Growth is a style. You've got the top 20 capped. You've got the Swix top 40. You've got a large cap. Remember, we've got a mid cap up there. Here, you've got a large cap. So those are the big boys. The market capitalization, companies that are big in terms of market capitalization. You've got an SA multi-factor equity. You've got momentum. You've got volatility. So this is a low vol. You've got a JSE global equity. Ne? All of this is available to you on Easy Equities as an ETF. They've bundled it cutely for you because they know that it's not your specialty. But when you want to go and choose ShopRite and you want to sell Capitec, but the girls are doing well. Like their channels are popping, they're doing well. But I'm just like, hey, could never be me. Could never be me. Because I work in the field. I'm not going to jeopardize my career for that, number one. Number two, it's not good investment advice. And you saying at the beginning of the video, this doesn't constitute investment advice, doesn't mean you're not giving investment advice. It doesn't mean you're not giving investment advice. And if you look at Itumeleng's, what's her name, people are putting in a lot of money in these things. They're putting in a lot of money, well, my hundreds and thousands of rands. People's goals are like, I want to have 1 million. And then so far they've got like 250,000. Where's the 250,000? FNB shares, FNB and Capitec. Okay, so someone asked, is it better to work at PwC or guard risk in terms of work hours and pay? Okay, so I think leave work hours and pay and focus on e-culture, because PwC has an office here in Cape Town. It's also got an office in Gauteng. So I'm gonna butcher his name, but there's a guy called Azwifeli Rachifeti. I've butchered it even on Google, so I'm not seeing him on LinkedIn. He worked at PwC. He was one of the top graduates, I think, in 2013, 2014. He was a couple of years older than us. And he went and worked there. He worked at the Cape Town branch, and then he moved to the Joburg one. You should be reaching out to people based on culture, right? I'm Black. How am I going to work in a team? Are they accepting? Are they open? Is there mobility? Am I going to get a mentor? Those are the questions you should be focusing on, not work hours and pay. As a graduate, you should be focused on, am I going to grow in this environment? Am I going to be able to study? I'm guessing you're an actuarial, so you should also be working towards understanding the study policy. Work hours and pay, least of your worries. You're going to get money. You're going to work. There's no work hours, but you're going to get similar kind of work depending on the type of team. Are you in a valuations team? Are you in a pricing team? Yeah. So you should be reaching out to people on LinkedIn and asking about culture. You shouldn't be asking about work hours and pay. Why? Because the people you're going to be reaching out to are mid-career or like years of experience. They're like quite old, maybe 8 years in, like myself, or 5 years in. They're not going to remember the work hours and pay, but they're going to remember how they felt when they worked there. They're going to remember the opportunities they were granted when they were there. They're going to remember the stepping stone type of career. They're going to remember the mentorship, and that's what you should be focused on, because in your first role, that is what is important. Well, damn. Sorry, I went a bit too hard on the easy equities thing, but I'm not gonna lie, it pisses me off. It low key pisses me off. It's like if I go on YouTube and I'm telling people medical advice, or I'm giving people engineering advice, like whoever's listening to me, there's gonna be an engineer there or medical student there thinking, what the fuck is she on about? And then you guys are gonna be lapping it up. Like, yeah, Tando says we should apply coffee to our face in the morning to help heal. Don't. But I also don't want to be a hater. So I don't go on these and comment some snarky shit for the girlies. But I do go on Itumileng's one and I do say, listen, because I know it's anonymous, but I know that the people who she's making the video about are usually watching. So I'm always in there like, listen, you should consider splitting your money into real money and play money, because you're going to lose your money. The markets have been kind, but they're not going to stay kind. You're going to lose money. Because imagine if you had all of this going during COVID. You were there holding bank shares during COVID. You were there holding, growth stocks during COVID. And what were the portfolio managers doing? They were switching into cash. The multi-asset managers were, tilting. They were doing TAA, tactical asset allocation. They were tilting their portfolios towards more cash and less equities. And you don't know what that is. And you don't have to know what that is. Why? Because it's not your field. It's not your expertise. But if you've got 100,000 in that, are you quickly going to learn it on YouTube? Would you please save this live? Thank you for the real nuggets. Pleasure, man. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So Azwifeli Rachifeti, and then God Risk. Who do I know who's on God Risk? Let me check my LinkedIn. Who do I know who's at God Risk? Oh, do you know Amogelang Khaladi? He's like a boy wonder. He was Mail and Guardian's top 200 young South Africans. So he's worked there. Oh, he's currently the group chief actuary at God Risk. Look, he might not respond to you, but he might. So it's always good to try. Who else is there? A lot of the people here, I know the name, but I don't know the person personally. So even Amogelang, I don't know him personally. But yeah, there's a lot of people at guard risk. If you just go on LinkedIn and you search on guard risk and people, you'll find them. Reach out to them. Again, what is the focus? People, culture, mentorship, study policy, not money and work hours. I think for work hours, you're trying to maybe lean into the study policy, but maybe the way that you're asking it is not 100%. But pay, that's not what you should be worried about in your first role. Because if you're worried about money, you're going to go into a role where you're not going to grow, you're not going to get work that is challenging, you're not going to be able to pick up a skill set. Because school is very different to work. And we're fortunate enough to be able to say this in on here and on WhatsApp, but like we obviously can say it like on a broader public what. But everyone's got a natural science degree. There's nothing special about it. Everyone's got a natural science degree. There's nothing special about it. I'm gonna say it the third time. Everyone's got a natural science degree. There's nothing special about it. At least in my world. Ne? So once you've got the degree, now you need to build on the skill set. And if you go into a role where the job is not what you're interested in, or the job is not going to grow you, then after 2 years, what are you going to do? You've got the work hours that you want, you've got the pay that you want, but you're stagnant. It's hard for you to progress, it's hard for you to move roles, it's hard for you to move even within the organization. Because when you got the job, you weren't focused on the growth element, the actual work, the technical skills that you want to pick up. So those are the type of conversations that you want to ask. And why is mentorship important? It's important because there are not a lot of us in the field. And so it's difficult for you to make your way to navigate the space because a lot of it is everyone's got the degree, right? A lot of it is how you interact with people, how people find you. Are you easy to work with? Do you have the actual skill set? How do you progress in the workspace? How do you handle microaggressions from your white colleagues? How do you handle microaggressions from males? How do you handle microaggressions from people who are your peers but who feel threatened by you? How do you navigate those spaces? That's what mentorship is for. So you can't explain microaggressions about white people to white people. So you need to find a space that has at least one or two people that look like you, that you can say, hey, Tando, can I grab you for a coffee? And then I'm not going to say no. I want a free coffee. You go with the free coffee, we chat during lunch, and like, hey, one of my colleagues said this, what does it mean? And then I can grab it for you and say, this is what it meant. This is how you should respond to it or don't respond to it. You need a mentor who's going to be able to tell you, listen, if you're working with someone and you're chatting and you're doing the work, every interaction on a task should be followed up with an email. Because they lie. I'm not going to they lie. They'll be like, I told Tando to do this, I told Tando to do this, I gave her feedback on their lie. So meet with the person, keep it cute in a meeting room or at the person's desk. When you get back to your you get on your Zoom. Hi Bangman, thank you so much for the meeting. Just to make sure I got you correctly, you said I must do this and this and this, and we should leave this out of the scope and we'll focus on this on a later date. You don't have to copy anyone else in if you're just speaking to them. And then when it comes to a report back, you can say, oh, just bring you guys up to speed. This is the bottleneck on the task. This is what we've been focusing on as discussed. And this is what we said we're going to leave for last. And when that person says no, you're like, oh, but I have it on email. Do not argue. Oh, but and you have to act confused. You mustn't act like I know better. You have to act confused and be like, oh, sorry, sorry, did I miss you? I think this is what we said on email, but I may be incorrect. You gotta say it like that. You know you're correct. You're not maybe, you know you're correct, but you don't want to appear as the angry black. You need a mentor who's going to tell you that. If you want to bounce, you don't tell everyone, I'm leaving the company, I'm unhappy. When you are interviewing, you don't interview on company time. It's either you work from home on the day or you take a half day or something. You do not tell everyone I'm leaving. You don't go on LinkedIn and put on the green sticker. You tell recruiters, listen, I don't want this to get back to me. And you work with recruiters that your company does not work with so that it doesn't get back to them. right? And you have coffee chats, preferably in person, so that there's nothing on record that you met with this company on this and that, especially at the beginning stages. Because you're interviewing and you could lose what you have here for something that may or may not materialize. And how are you going to lose it? They're going to hear that Tando's thinking of leaving. They're going to make life difficult for you here. No one is going to tell you that if you do not have a mentor, because your peers are experiencing the same thing you're experiencing at the same time. When you tell them something, they're also like, yo, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to handle that. I don't know what that means. They're as shocked as you are, and that's not helpful. You also can't go to your mom or your aunt or your uncle. They don't understand because they haven't worked with white people at a level that is equal to them. You understand? Because of apartheid. And to the history of this country because and sugarcoated because of apartheid. So our parents have most likely worked with white people as a subservient in the workplace, not as equals. So they don't know what you mean when you're saying who's being microaggressive. They don't know what you mean when you're saying I have to write down everything on email because when we get to the big meeting, she's lying on my name. They don't understand what that means. And they think you're the one who's wrong. When you're about to leave, you don't leave before bonus season. They'll give you the bonus, but they'll make it as little as possible. And now you can't come back and say, hey, you gave me a little bonus because I was going to leave. You can't cry. You're going to take that out. After you've worked a whole year and then they give you a shitty bonus, you're going to take that out and then you're going to go on to your next. You cannot know that if you do not have a mentor. You cannot have a mentor if you don't go into spaces where that is like deliberately what you are looking for. Mentorship, growth, acceleration. But if you're focused on pay and what's the name, then when you get there, you're going to be focused on the wrong things and you're not going to get access to these things. You're going to make the same mistakes we've made. Which isn't helpful to anyone. It's not helpful to anyone, because you're making the same mistakes that we've made before. So where's the growth? Uti, which exams are you planning on writing? I'm doing CFA in May. I'm not writing any actuarial in the first session in April. I'm just doing actuarial in May. Uti, I thought the country needs 1,000 actuaries. The country does need actuaries. What I was trying to get at is that everyone on my phone did actuarial. I've got a few engineers. I've got a lot of ecos and finance and stats. So it's nothing special. And when you get to the workplace, you're at PwC, they've got the actuarial risk and quants team. You're at God Risk, they've got a whole actuarial team. Nedbank has got Nedbank Insurance. FNB has got FNB Insurance. ABSA has got ABSA Insurance. Everyone is a quant. Everyone is an actuary in our world. So if you're going there and you don't want to focus on getting the skill set that you want for your next role, you're not going to stick out. You're not going to progress. You're going to be stuck. That's what I was getting at. I'm not talking about the country. I would like to believe that you understand that there are nuances in a conversation. So we're not on TikTok here. We're not doing that whataboutism. We are learned people. Oti, what do you think about internships and back work from second year? Have you seen students able to secure them from second year? Yeah, especially second semester. So you must check out, is it APSIP? Yeah, APSIP, so the Association of Black Securities and Investment Professionals, if you are looking to go into investments, ABSIP, APSIP. You should also check out, what is it at UCT? Is it, it's not SARP. Okay. If you are an EDU, so in commerce, if you are in EDU, reach out to Billy Enderstein. I'm gonna say the surname wrong. Billy Enderstein. Let me see. Um, she is with the Actuarial Society of South Africa, ASA. I think she still works at UCT. She's a student advisor. She is super helpful. So she can help you navigate VAC work. So I did VAC work, I think, in my third year though. I did PwC for 2 weeks, and I also did Med Scheme Holdings for 2 weeks. And then that was June. Yeah, I did that in June of my final year. And then in final year, I was fortunate enough to get into the Investec Work Readiness Program. They flew us to Gauteng. We stayed at a hotel, and it was a mix of people from different universities, which was super nice. I had a roommate in the hotel, which was a girl from Rhodes, Andiswa. So that was also super nice, just interacting with people from different universities. And we had to come up with like different ideas and just learn work readiness. They taught us about branding, how like social media yakho needs to be aligned with the type of work that you want to go on. So for instance, if I start on easy equities, you guys should be buying this and not buying this share. And then I move from fixed income and I go into an equities role, that history is going to be following me. The better thing to do would be, if you are in investments, to keep a portfolio while you're working there, so that when you are interviewing or before you work there as a student, go on easy equities, do, even if it's a demo account, go and buy shares, and then when you are interviewing, you can tell them, this is what I thought and this is what I bought, this is what I thought, this is what I bought. You're doing it on a demo account, but you are showing interest in the in the industry, and you're using information that you use from your finance courses. So maybe build a couple of models. It won't, for banks, it's a bit difficult, but you can do maybe think something for hotels, like a City Lodge group, and do like occupancy, do some work on Airbnb. What does that mean for, yeah, but just show that you've thought about things. They like that in interviews, and it can help you stick out. But once you're already working in the field, then why would I buy MTN when Matrix Fund Managers is selling MTN? Why would I sell Vodacom if Matrix Fund Managers is buying Vodacom? Yeah, so there becomes, there's a bit of a conflict there once you're already working. But when you're a student, you should definitely have a share portfolio. It helps you in interviews, it helps you, puts you ahead of the curve and things like that. And it helps you even with evac work. When you have to write that little cover letter, you must say, look, I was part of the JSE Trading Challenge. I was in the top 10 in Gauteng, and nationally I was in the top 15, because they show you, right, in your province where you are and when, and that's demo money, but you can get prizes off of that. And if you don't get prizes, when you're interviewing, you want to pull everything at your disposal. Why? Because again, everyone's got an actuarial science degree. Everyone wants to be a quant. So that's why you interview. That's why you don't just go in and work at Nedbank, babonisa degree, and then they say come through, because it's competitive still. And in the broader South African context, yes, unemployment is at 34%. For graduates, it's 12%. But for actuarial science graduates, it doesn't mean that you're just going to get things handed on a plate. When you're interviewing at Nedbank, you must also be interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. When they tell you this and this and this is what's going to come out of the role, and 3 or 4 months in, the role is not what you want, you should go and sit back down with them and say, hey, this is what we say we're going to do. I'm not getting this out of this role. Can we make sure that the next 3 or 4 months are in line with what we interviewed for? And you don't make threats. You just say, this isn't what we promised each other. What's the plan? My battery's flat, so I'm going to go in like 5 or 10 minutes. Because you're no longer getting what you thought you were going to get and what you said you set out to get. Yeah, again, you can only know that if you've got a mentor that helps you weigh up different options. So I mentored, so I don't know if you remember, but I did a video on the Coronation Bursary Fund. I actually can't do a call with me because I'm talking now. So it's good that my battery's dying so I can log off and actually work. But I did a thing on the Coronation Bursary Fund. So I was mentoring a guy who was on that bursary fund, about 2 years ago, through Excel at uni. And one of the things that I had to do with him in final year, because he did an actuarial science undergrad and then he did his honors in financial engineering at the University of Pretoria. So in final year, I had to sit with him. He had 3 or 4 job offers. I had to sit with him and think through it with him. Option 1, location. Option 2, it's not the location we want, but the salary is higher. Option 3, it's the field you definitely want to go into, but it's in a city that you're not comfortable living in. And then we thumb through that. And also timing, because company 1 will get back to you before company 2, but company 3 hasn't gotten back to you, but it's the one you really want. Do you reject these 2 hoping that this one comes through, or how do you communicate to these 2 that, look, I'm really grateful for the offer, can I switch it for a couple of days? You're buying time to see when company 3 comes through, and then when company 3 come through, it's the one that you want, but the salary is lower than these 2. How do you go back to that HR manager and say, hey, really grateful for the opportunity, this is my first choice, this is really what I want to do, it's in line with my degree and all of that cute English. Can we revisit the salary conversation? I've been speaking to other companies and this offer is more likely what I'm willing to accept for a role like this. How do you navigate those conversations if you don't have a mentor? You really can't. So you guys have to reach out to people on LinkedIn, reach out to people in real life, talk about these things and talk about salaries. I always tell Black graduates, you have to talk about salaries because we are underpaid because we don't talk about money. We don't talk about money to our peers. We don't talk about money with our family. Ne? So you're underpaid and then you overperform at home to show that you are sebenza. Ne? So you're getting paid 350, your colleague is on 450 because she negotiated. You move jobs, they keep you at 350 because you really wanted that job and they told you that was the cap of their budget and you still made the move, a lateral move. Your colleague moves from 450 and gets a 20% jump. Now your colleague is up, let's say 580. You're still at 350. When they go buy a BMW, you're scratching your head, banjani. You can't start chatting about salaries 5 or 10 years in. It's too late. It's too late. You have to start as grads. Because as grads, I call personal. You're basically saying, Absa offered me 480. What did RMB offer you? 600. Oh, nice. Now you know, Bana, you should be trying to get back into RMB or you should be holding off on RMB's offer to get back to you. Because you know that the offer is higher. What did JP Morgan offer you? Oh, 750 and there's travel. Nice. Those are the conversations we should be having. Jy klink baie intelligent. Ons is nie Afrikaans nie. What do you think about internships and back work? Yeah, I think I've answered that. How does anyone know when fund managers are selling or buying? You don't. You only know if you work there. And I work there, so that's how I know. And brokers will know because they will be trading with the brokers, right? So if Matrix is selling Capitec shares, they will be selling them with, I don't know, Absa brokers or RMB brokerage. So we'll be selling them to them and then RMB will be selling them to someone else. Okay, hi, hope you're good. I just joined. Are there any actuaries you know with a computer science degree but managed to qualify or at least heading there? No. Actuaries, no, but you definitely can. I've got an actuarial science roadmap, road to qualification video. So all you need is, I think, 2 years of stats and 2 years of pure maths. So comp sci at UCT, if you did it in the science faculty, you do 2 years of maths and you can choose to do 2 years of stats. But comp sci at UCT, if you did it in the commerce faculty, you don't do the pure maths that you need for actuarial. You do, I think, MAM 1010, which is what the accountants and the economics majors do. So yeah, I don't know any actuaries with a comp sci degree, but I do know a lot of quantitative analysts with a comp sci degree. So you can definitely get in through that. Yeah, guys, my battery is dying and I'm not coding. Someone asked me, what am I coding? Building a tool that prices bonds. Yeah, I'm doing a tool that prices bonds, or that's what I'm supposed to be doing at least. But right now I'm chatting. Someone said I'm a good mentor. Thank you for that. I'm a good mentor because I have had good mentors historically. I was fortunate enough to have good mentors or access to good mentors. So at the moment, I'm mentoring one girl at my job, but the only reason I'm doing it is because she's there for short term. It's difficult to mentor people at the same job that you're at if the team is small because you're likely to work together. So she can't come to Tando to complain about Tando. But because she's rotating across different companies, I can mentor her for the time that she's here. And then when she leaves, she can still reach out to me. Yeah. But if she comes back to Matrix permanently, then I can't mentor her. Yeah, because the company is small. If I'm at FNB, I can mentor her because FNB is massive. And if she's not in my immediate team, it's okay. Yeah, so that's also something that's super important. I initiate those mentorship conversations because I know a lot of you are young and you don't know what you don't know. Yeah, thank you so much for my time. Pleasure, guys. Any last questions before I drop off? Thank you so much for sticking around. Please also like the live. Super interesting chat. Yeah, I'm glad it was helpful. I'm really glad it was helpful. I was saying, I think on TikTok, it's nice to have someone while you're working, but I did more of this than this. So my attention span is quite low. I actually need to get that checked out. Lol, this is new. My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas. I hadn't taken the sticker off. Is it possible to transfer those skills learned in business to real life work outside the business? Um, Explain that differently or ask that differently, please. Let me see, where's my battery at? 3%. I'll just go to the charger. I also need the bathroom, so in exams needs. I'd like to start with exams pretty soon. I already got my degree in comp sci adverts. People recommend IFOA over ASA for people who aren't necessarily from the traditional degree. Do you agree? No, it's the same. It's the same exams. My only concern for you is the journey can get quite expensive. Ne? The journey can get quite expensive. So if you've got a comp sci degree, what kind of work environment are you going to be working in that's going to give you one, is study leave, and two, is going to cover your costs. Someone on YouTube somewhere did the cost of the entire road to qualification, and you're going to be starting from A, right? Because you don't have the actual exemptions from uni. And I think they valued it about 300,000. So from A to qualification, that's going to cost you 300,000. That's another degree. So who's going to pay for that? Depending on where you're working, if you've got an EXA or a comp sci degree. IFRA versus ASA, there's no difference, but people have got an opinion on everything. Angry people are dead, bana Python over R. And those of us who know both know, bana, it's task dependent. So if I've built something before that's similar in R, I will use R for the new project. If I've built something before that's similar, I will use Python because I've used it for the thing. Like right now, I'm building in React. I don't know React as a front end, but because there's so much going on, clear bond calculation or bond pricing application, I'm gonna use React native. So someone's gonna come in and say, why didn't you use R? Someone's gonna come in and say, why didn't you use Python Flask, Django, or R Shiny? And I'm gonna tell them it's because the task needs something that's more interactive, because there's a lot going on the app. So Flask Python might have worked. Shiny I know won't work because it's a lot of data. So it's gonna be laggy. Okay, well, so yeah, people have got a preference on everything is what I'm trying to get off. The IFOA over ASA, there's really no difference. A lot of the exams, especially up until TASA, so up until the technical level, are the same. And then it sort of branches out. Like ASA papers, some of them are local, and then most of them are from the IFOA. So if you're stressing about that, it's the least of your worries. I think if I was you, I would be stressed about how much that's gonna cost me, the 300,000 that I mentioned, and is study leave. Because if you're a software engineer, they're not gonna want to sponsor you for actuarial because it's not in line with your role, and they're definitely not gonna give you study leave, and you need 5 days for Ilanduka the lower degrees, so the A100s and the A200s, at least 5 days. Or that's what the study policy is for most of the companies. And then the higher exams, you get like 20 days. I think for ARM, actual risk management, you get 20 days. That's a whole year's leave when you get to that exam. So just consider that. That's I think what you should be worried about. Not whether you do IFOA over ASA. You should do whichever one is simpler to log on and create a profile and start a membership. But there's not one that's better. And I promise you, people who have qualified already won't even bother with that. A lot of people are registered with both because the times when the exams are might be a little bit different. So one will work for you over the other. But it's not a matter of which one is better. It is the same association. With an ASA designation, you can go work in the UK. With an IFOA, you can come work in South Africa. It's interchangeable. But can the skills you learned at work help outside work? Help outside work in your own new business? Is that how you mean? Yes, a lot of people will start working at an asset management company and then branch out and start their own thing after a couple of years. But you need seed funding. You need seed funding because the smaller your order is, like if I'm buying 10 shares of MTN versus Coronation who's buying 10,000 shares of MTN, the broker is going to charge them less compared to me. So in terms of what you can participate in, that is the difference. So for shares, it's sharp, but for fixed income, there's ticket sizes. So for a bond, they'll tell you for this bond, you need at least 1 million to buy the bond. So if you're a small company and your assets under management is 500,000, you obviously can't take part in that bond auction. So that is the difficulty again when people do branch out and start their own things and apply the skills on their own. they can't buy all of the, or they can't partake in all of the individual instruments because of the ticket sizes. Which are already working at a bank, but with a software engineering based role, I hope I'll be disciplined enough to save up for them as they get quite costly. Dumi, that was quite helpful. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm gonna jump off. Dumi, I think you should get a mentor, bro. I think you should get a mentor. You are thinking of switching careers, and it's based on what you think actuarial science is going to give you. And I think with a comp sci degree, you are actually better prepared for 2026 moving forward at a bank, at a financial services company, with fintech, with everything. So I definitely think you should consider getting a mentor, and reach out to people in the field for both. The nice thing is that you're at a bank, so you've got access to everyone. So buy a coffee for these people. I mean, it's what, $40, and you can get 30 minutes with someone who can help guide you. Because there's obviously an idea of what you think actuarial science is going to give you, and you've got an idea of what comp sci is not going to give you. And you just need to chat to people who are maybe 2 or 3 years ahead of you in both those streams to just basically tell you the reality of both and what they envision the future looks like. Okay? Let me jump off, guys. Thanks for this.